one rule you don't break. Obviously, if you don't know any other rules as a big-time college athlete, that is the only rule you need to know. You cannot take money at all. It's a rule. At the end of the day, a rule is a rule, and you cannot break it. So we'll see what happens from there. Moving on from college football to baseball. Now, with the suspensions already handed out of all 13 players, 12 of them accepted their suspensions. They pretty much proved that they were guilty in the biogenesis case. But one player decided to appeal this process. That player is Alex Rodriguez. Now, Alex Rodriguez received a 211-game suspension for the use of performance-enhancing drugs, and apparently Major League Baseball has a lot of evidence, and it seems like they're going to throw the book at this guy for what he's done. It seems that he did more than just take these PEDs, and I think Bud Selig's out to get him. Now, a lot of people are saying, why didn't Alex Rodriguez take the suspension? Look, he's guilty. We all know it. His numbers have been declining the last couple of years, and it's been pathetic. Why not just take the suspension, come back at age 40, if he wants to? Because most people are thinking that is pretty much retirement. Pretty much almost 2 years away from baseball, coming back at the age of 40. It's going to be very difficult for him and his declining athleticism to come back from this. Now, again, naturally, he took the appeals process. Do I blame him? No. I'm sure he knows he's guilty. I mean, let's see. I mean, maybe I'm just assuming too quickly. Let's see the evidence that they have, that Major League Baseball has to get him. But there are rules in place where you're allowed to appeal, and he did that. Now, Monday he played out in Chicago. That was his first game of the year, and obviously, I was doing this show live and watching the game at the same time, and it was unbelievable. It was one of those things where you know that stadium was going to be packed with people just to see A-Rod. Now, obviously, we wanted to know the reactions. Would he get booed? Would he be cheered? Or would there be just silence? Now, obviously, there were a lot of boos. A-Rod went 1 for 3 in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the big question was this weekend when the Yankees played the Tigers. Friday was the first game back for Alex Rodriguez in Yankee Stadium. And it seemed like, obviously, the majority of people were going to boo him. And he went 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Now, earlier this afternoon, they played the final game of the series against the Tigers. And A-Rod hit a home run, his first of the year. Now, Alex Rodriguez has 648 home runs, 12 runs behind the great Willie Mays. If he passes, according to his contract, if Alex Rodriguez passes Willie Mays on the all-time home run list, he gets a $6 million bonus. And I'm sure Major League Baseball is just still stunned at the news that he could pass him. He could pass Willie Mays. And again, he has about maybe a month, really, left in the season. Is he going to hit 12 home runs? I don't think so. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But what this shows is that Major League Baseball just wants to get Alex Rodriguez out of this game. You know why? Because they can't catch him. And Major League Baseball knows they are so wrong in this. And they're full of owners that can't do anything, really. According to the drug policy, they have a drug policy in place now. And I think it's since 2006, if I'm not mistaken. And Alex Rodriguez has admitted to doing performance-enhancing drugs back in 2003 when he was with Texas. But he's never been caught by Major League Baseball. Now, Major League Baseball had to conduct an investigation in order to catch him. Now, the big question there is, how did Alex the bigger question really to me is Major League Baseball, does Major League Baseball have an effective drug policy? I mean, they caught 13 guys, and some of these are bigger names. I mean, you have the guy from Texas, Nelson Cruz. You have Johnny Peralta from the Tigers. Antonio Bastardo from the Phillies. Those are some of the bigger names. A lot of the guys are maybe minor league guys or guys who are free agents, but, some of the there are a couple prominent names on there that are playing in the major leagues. How in the world has this so-called drug policy not been able to catch these guys? What are they taking? And how really are they just getting by? Now, according to the players, a lot of them want a stronger drug policy with 100 games for the first offense and a lifetime suspension for the second offense. I could see that. But really, 100 games isn't that much. And I do not think that the Major League Baseball Players Association, which is by far the strongest players association in all of sports, by far, they're not going to do one and done. They're not going to have you get tested, you get busted for PEDs once, and you're done for life. Now, I came up with a different idea for how Major League Baseball should deal with this drug policy. Now, obviously, the main concern for players is obviously catching guys who are dirty and suspending them. But all these Major League Baseball contracts are guaranteed. So regardless if they get in trouble, however money they sign for is what they're going to get. If they get suspended, they're going to lose some of that money, but once they come back, they're able to earn the rest of their contract. Now, here's my idea. Let's say you get suspended. You get caught the very first time. What I think should happen is that Major League Baseball should void the contract. Because you know what? Ryan Braun is going to make $100 million over the next couple years. He doesn't care that he's on a team. He's on a losing team anyway, and you know what? He's like, okay, I'll just take a vacation. I'll be back next year. He doesn't care. He's going to make $100 million once he comes back next year. And A-Rod, I mean, he's still making money. He has a big contract right now, which the New York Yankees are trying to get under of. But we'll see what happens with that. Again, going back to my plan, if you get busted for PEDs the very, very first time, you get your contract voided. You're done. Now, that happened with Miguel Cabrera. Or not Miguel, Melky Cabrera, excuse me. A couple years ago when he was on the San Francisco Giants roster, and he was suspended 50 games, didn't come back for the postseason. Now he was a free agent. He signed a contract, 2 years, $16 million. So there he is, making millions again. Major League Baseball, to the players, do you really love this game that much? Are you willing to play that much? Is it for the love of the game, or is it for the love of the money? Maybe more baseball than money. Maybe more money than baseball. Let's put that to the test. The next contract that you sign after you get suspended, your contract voided, $1. I'm serious. How many people will take PEDs if that's the policy? Let's say you get popped. Yeah, my contract's over, and the next contract that you have to sign is $1, regardless of team. I think that would be an effective deterrent. Is that ever going to happen? Absolutely not. That'd be ridiculous. But would that specific plan be effective? Absolutely, no question. Because players are not going to risk their contract getting voided to get busted for PEDs. Players already make millions of dollars, and I don't think they're going to risk all that to get a bigger payday and just get $1. That's just my idea. I'm just saying. I think that should be for at least 2 years. Get $1 per year. Two-year contract, $2. Yeah, that's honestly what could be the best deterrent. Maybe, obviously, first time you're gone, yeah, that's obviously the top-notch deterrent, but is that ever realistically going to happen? No. Is my plan realistically going to happen? No, but that seems a lot better. That's just my opinion again. Who am I to tell Major League Baseball what to do? But hey, I'm just a fan, an observer. That's pretty much it. I just enjoy the game and I like it pure. I really do like the players like Mike Trout who have been clean so far, and these big superstars. Bryce Harper has been great, and all the pitching obviously been phenomenal. Clayton Kershaw at the top. It's been fun to watch. If it wasn't for the PEDs this season, there would be so many great storylines. Obviously, there are so many great races in Major League Baseball going on right now. Pittsburgh coming back. The Dodgers are resurging. Baseball in LA is fantastic. If you're on the Dodgers anyway, not the Angels. And how is Boston going to do? How are the Orioles going to do? The Rays. Those are going to be interesting matchups going forward. But yet, we have to talk about PEDs. It's sad, really. Moving on onto nicer topics. Looking at the standings right now as we move into the halfway point of August, midpoint of August, Boston has a 2.5 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays right now, and 4.5 games over Baltimore. And it's very interesting. Again, why not? This could be a great story. Yeah, the Yankees are out, but that's, again, as a fan, it stinks, but that's okay. Because you know what? I like observing the game of baseball as a whole. Now in the Central, you have Detroit. They lost today to the Yankees. Now they're only 7 games ahead of the Cleveland Indians, who again haven't been playing that well. Only won 3 out of their last 10 games. Not really good right now if you're trying to make a big postseason bid. Especially, I think they're going to have to win the division because either Tampa Bay or Oakland or Baltimore are going to get the other wild card spots. They're going to have to go for the division. Now in the West, you have Texas. Texas was so many games back. I think they were 6 back at one point behind Oakland, and now they're 1 ahead. Oakland just, again, only won 3 out of their last 10 games. It's been very disturbing. Seattle is ahead of the Angels. Can you believe that? If I was going to tell you in this season, at the beginning of this season, that halfway through August, Seattle would be ahead of the Angels, you would have laughed at me. No joke. And look where they are now. The Angels are half a game behind the Seattle Mariners. It goes to show you that money doesn't buy you talent. Now, moving on to the National League, the Atlanta Braves, man, they have been on fire. 72-46, the best record in baseball. Have great pitching, 40 wins at home. They've been phenomenal offensively, 130 run differential. Wow. They are lighting it up offensively, and their pitching has been arguably some of the best in baseball. Now, the one team I think that can compete with the National League, and my friend Matt, who's listening in, just told me, the Pittsburgh Pirates, arguably the story of the year, for that matter. It's exciting when you have a team, a franchise that, like Pittsburgh, that's been so successful in the 60s and the 70s, who hasn't had a winning record in the last 20 years, to now be ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals in the Central. Obviously, for the majority of my life, I've always seen Pittsburgh as a team that's not always going to finish last or maybe next to last in their division. I've never seen this before. I mean, obviously, the last couple years they've been on the brink, but in the second half, they haven't done so well. Now, this time in the second half, they're doing phenomenal. Only a 48 run differential, but they're shutting it down defensively, which is absolutely phenomenal for a team that, for many years, was pretty much a stepping stone. Like, people just were like, oh, Pittsburgh Pirates, okay, that's fine. We'll beat them, no problem. They're playing 500 baseball right now, only winning 5 and 5 in their last 10 games, losers of 3 in a row, but they still have a 3-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals, who've also had their struggles as well. So we'll see. It's going to be an exciting race, and don't forget about Cincinnati, who also has great pitching as well. So the Central is probably the division to watch in baseball. Now moving out to the West, it looks like the Dodgers are just going to pull away. I mean, a lot of their talent early in the year has been unhealthy. They haven't had a healthy roster, and now that they do, they're clicking on all cylinders right now. Winners of 4 in a row. 9 out of the last 10 games they've come out on top. It's been phenomenal to watch Dodger baseball. and listening to Vince Scully, who's the best